Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Sunday. Here with the NFL picks for today. A lot of good action on the board, so go ahead and like and subscribe, guys. Support the channel. You guys already know what to do. And go ahead and check out Prize Picks, really cool app to bet on player props. And really awesome app designed for player props, all NFL, college football, MLB, whatever you guys want to do. But makes watching these games more fun, and it's a lot better than doing player props on any of your betting sites. It's a lot more user friendly and makes it more fun. So go ahead and sign up in the link below and get a nice up to $100 deposit on your initial, or a bonus on your initial deposit up to $100. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. Really fun. I've been enjoying it this last week, and we're gonna hop into it. A lot of good action on the board here. Starting with the Carolina Panthers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas opening up as 4.5-point favorites with the over-under at 51.5. You can get Dallas on the money line at minus 210. Carolina plus 190. Carolina coming off a 24-9 win over Houston. Dallas coming off that 41-21 win over Philly. Carolina 4-1 in their last 5, 8-0 covering the spread on the road here. Carolina, they have struggled against Dallas though, just 3-9 in their last 12 games against Dallas here. Dallas 5-2 in their last 7, 4-1 at home against Carolina. Tough matchup here. I mean, Carolina has haven't really ever been 3-0 to start the season. Probably been a long time. Carolina's been playing really good. Defense has really stepped it up. Love that D-line, and they have a lot of weapons on defense and offense. Obviously, losing McCaffrey does hurt their offense here, but Sam Darnold has been playing really great football here. And, I don't know. I think it's just going to be a close matchup here. I like Carolina plus the points here. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Would not shock me if Carolina pulls off this win here. They've just been playing really good football here. Give me Carolina plus the points. Next matchup, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Minnesota Vikings. Cleveland opening up as 2-point favorites with the over-under at 51.5. You can get Cleveland on the money line at minus 130. Minnesota plus 115. Cleveland coming off a 26-6 dominating win over Chicago. Minnesota coming off a pretty dominating win over Seattle, 30-17. Cleveland 14-6 in their last 20 games. They have struggled against Minnesota, just 1-7 against Minnesota in their last 8, 1-4 on the road against Minnesota. Minnesota struggled covering the spread here, just 2-8 covering the spread in their last 10. 4-1 at home against Cleveland here. Should get Dalvin Cook back, barring any crazy injuries. Dalvin Cook should be in this matchup here. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for both teams. I really don't know where to go with this one here. Not much value, so Vegas thinks it's going to be a pretty close game here. I like Minnesota plus 2 here. I think it's going to be a lot closer. Minnesota at home. Already have struggled early on here. I don't think they want to go 1-3. Kirk Cousins has been playing really great football here. Really nice offense. Defense, I think, starting to pick it up here. Give me Minnesota plus 2 here. Maybe buy some points, get them in a teaser. I think it should be a close one. Give me Minnesota. Next matchup, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears. Chicago opening up as 3-point favorites with the over-under at 41.5. You can get Chicago on the money line at minus 140. Detroit plus 130. Detroit coming off, the most devastating loss of all time against Baltimore. Justin Tucker getting that 66-yard game-winning field goal, which was absolutely insane to watch. Chicago coming off just the most awful performance you've probably ever seen in your life against Cleveland here. Horrible coaching. We already know about that. Detroit currently on a 7-game losing streak. They've struggled against Chicago, just 1-5 against Chicago. 2-4 covering the spread against Chicago here. Chicago 1-4 in their last 5. 1-4 covering the spread in their last 5. We'll see who ends up starting at quarterback, whether it's Justin Fields or Andy Dalton or Nick Foles. Who even knows? You just can't trust the Bears. They're horrible to watch here. Detroit, despite their record, I mean, they really should have won that Baltimore game. Baltimore didn't look good last game. And Cincinnati, not Cincinnati. And, earlier in that Packers game, all their games, they've been really closer. They actually have effort and have weapons. Jared Goff's a more capable quarterback, really good running backs here. No chance I'm taking the Bears the way they've been playing here. Give me Detroit +3. I think it's getting +70. I like Detroit on the money line as well to get their first win of the season here. Next matchup, we have the Houston Texans versus the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo opening up as 17-point favorites with the over-under at 47. You can get Buffalo on the money line at -1400. Houston +990. Houston coming off that 24-9 loss against Carolina. Buffalo coming off that 43-21 win over Washington. Very dominant performance. 2 dominating performances in a row here. Houston just 1-7 in their last 8. Houston has, really beat up Buffalo here. 5-1 against Buffalo. But these are different circumstances here. Buffalo 8-1 at home. Yeah, I think it's going to be a dominating performance against Houston here. Against Buffalo. Love Buffalo. Going to add them to the parlays. The spread, pretty high spread. I think this is a game you tease for sure at -17, but they should have no problem beating up on this Texans team here. Give me Buffalo. Next matchup, we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins opening up as 2-point favorites with the over-under at 42.5. You can get the Dolphins on the money line at -130. The Colts +115. The Colts coming off a 25-16 loss against Tennessee. Miami coming off a 31-28 loss over Las Vegas in overtime. The Colts 6-2 in their last 8 games against Miami. They've just been 1-5 in their last 6. Very poor to start the season for this Colts team. The Dolphins 10-5 in their last 15. 6-1 covering at home here. Tough matchup. I mean, I'm really not excited about this matchup here. Just a 2-point spread. Colts 0-3 getting okay plus money here. Can you trust the Colts? That's the big question. They just looked awful. Carson Wentz has just really been a joke. He has not been good here. We know Miami have Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback, but in his first start, he looked really good. I mean, really led them to an almost comeback win against Las Vegas here. Had Las Vegas on their toes. Has better weapons and a better defense to support him in Miami. Give me Miami -2 here until Indianapolis can rack up some wins. I mean, how can you trust Indianapolis here? Have not looked good. I'll take the Dolphins here. Next matchup, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Chiefs opening up as 7-point favorites with the over-under at 54.5. You can get the Chiefs on the money line at -318. The Eagles +268. Kansas City coming off that 30-24 loss against the Chargers where they looked really bad. They just didn't look like the same team, honestly, on offense. Philly coming off that pretty bad loss against Dallas, 41-21. Kansas City just 1-7 covering the spread in their last 8 games. 0-5 covering on the road here. Philly 1-5 in their last 6. This has just got to be the bounce back game for the Chiefs. I mean, they can't fall 1-3 here. We saw that Eagles defense just get shredded by Dallas. I think it's going to be a revenge game for the Chiefs coming off 2 losses here. I think Chiefs dominate in this matchup. Give me the Chiefs by a half a point, -6.5, just in case, you don't want to get it at that 7, just for you to push if they only win by 7. But we'll take Chiefs on -6.5 and take them on the money line as well. Next matchup, we have the New York Giants versus the New Orleans Saints. Saints opening up as 7-point favorites with the over-under at 42. You can get the Saints on the money line at -330. The Giants +275. Giants coming off a 17-14 loss against the Falcons. And then the Saints coming off a 28-13 win over New England. The Giants just 1-6 in their last 7. 1-5 covering the spread against the Saints. The Saints 14-4 in their last 18. 7-2 at home here. You just can't trust this 0-3 this 0-3 Giants team. How can you? They've just been very bad. I think it's going to be close by a half a point on the Saints, but love the Saints in this matchup. As long as Jameis doesn't do anything crazy and have a bunch of turnovers, which he's been pretty decent so far this season. We'll take the Saints -6.5, and we'll take them on the money line as well. Next matchup, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the New York Jets. Titans opening up as 6-point favorites with the over-under at 44.5. You can get the Titans on the money line at -275. The Jets +240. The Titans coming off a 25-16 win over the Colts. The Jets coming off a 26-0 win over the Broncos. Titans 13-7 in their last 20 games. They've struggled against the Jets, just 2-6 on the road against the Jets here. I don't really know why, honestly. The Jets just 1-8 at home. 2-17 in their last 19 games here. The Jets coming off a scoreless game, which is really hard to do in the NFL. How can you trust this Jets team? We know Tennessee's going to be without Julio and A.J. Brown, but even without his weapons, I just think Tannehill finds a way to get the passing game moving, and I just think it's going to be a Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's got a feast on this team. He's going to run all over them. The Jets know Derrick Henry's they're going to run the ball with Derrick Henry, and they're not going to be able to stop him here. Small spread, even without his top 2 weapons on offense here in the passing game. You just can't take the Jets here. Going to roll with the Titans. Next matchup, we have the Washington football team versus the Atlanta Falcons. Washington opening up as 1.5-point favorites with the over-under at 47.5. You can get Washington on the money line at -120. Atlanta +105. Washington coming off that 43-21 loss against Buffalo. Atlanta coming off that 17-14 win over the Giants. Washington, they've definitely struggled against Atlanta. Just 0-6 against Atlanta here. Atlanta have not looked really good this season either. 1-7 in their last 8. 2-7 at home. It's just tough. Washington on the road here. I'm gonna roll with Washington here. Atlanta, they've just been very disappointing to start this season. The offense and defense look awful. Washington, let's hope that defense steps up. I think it's gonna be a tough matchup for the Falcons here. And Heineke's been pretty decent at quarterback here. Give me Washington. Atlanta's just so hard to trust here. I can't do it. Gonna take the football team. Next matchup, we have Arizona Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Rams. 2 3-0 teams here. The Rams opening up as 4.5-point favorites with the over-under at 54.5. You can get the Rams on the money line at -210. The Cardinals +190. Cardinals coming off a 31-19 win over the Jaguars. The Rams coming off a 34-24 win over Tampa Bay. A really impressive win there. Arizona, they have struggled against the Rams pretty heavily. 0-8 against the Rams. 0-7 covering the spread against the Rams. The Rams 10-2 at home. 4-1 covering the spread in their last 6 games here. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Cardinals. They struggled a little bit in that Jaguars game here. I like the Rams here. It's going to be a tough matchup. 2 really good teams here, but that defense for the Ram, I think it's going to be tough for the Cardinals here. I don't love the spread. I think it's going to be a really close game here. I'm going to buy a 1.5, maybe 2 points. Get the Rams -2.5. I think it's going to be a field goal kind of game here. But we'll take Rams on the money line. It's just going to be, and the way the Rams offense has looked, they've just looked really great here. And the way they kind of beat up on that Tampa Bay team shows how good this Rams team is. Give me LA. Next matchup, we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers opening up as 3-point favorites with the over-under at 52. You can get the Niners on the money line at -145. Seattle plus 130. Seattle coming off that, pretty bad loss against Minnesota, 30-17. San Francisco coming off that heartbreaking loss against the Packers, 30-28. Seattle 13-7 in their last 20 games, 13-2 in their last 15 against the Niners. So they've had really good success against San Francisco. The 49ers 0-5 at home right now, 1-6 at home against Seattle. Last time these guys played last year, or earlier this year for last season, Seattle winning 26-23 there. So I think it's going to be another close game here. Give me Seattle plus 3. I'll buy the half a point, get them plus 3.5, and we'll take the Seahawks here. Next matchup, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Denver Broncos. Baltimore opening up as 1-point favorites with the over-under at 45. You can get Baltimore on the money line at minus 105, Denver plus 100. Baltimore coming off that miracle win over Detroit 19-17. Denver coming off a 26-0 win over the Jets. Baltimore 8-2 in their last 10. They have struggled on the road, just 1-4 on the road against Denver here. Denver 4-2 covering the spread at home. 4-1 at home against Baltimore. It's going to be a close game here. This is a real game, to see what Denver really is made of. One of the last undefeated teams left in the NFL. But, they play the Jets, Jags, and Giants. You really should be 3-0 there. But Baltimore haven't looked the same on offense. They have, 2-1, been pretty solid, but barely beating this Detroit team. Losing to a pretty good Raiders team, and they were able to beat Kansas City here. Tough matchup. I really don't know where I lean here. I just think Denver's been playing so well, even though they have been playing against bad teams. Either way, they're 3-0. Offense has looked really good. Defense has looked good. Baltimore, still a lot of injury questions. Lamar, still banged up heading into this game. Give me Denver plus 1. I think it's going to be a close game. This will be a real test to see what Denver's made of. And, I like Denver plus 1 here. And maybe add them to a teaser, get them some points. But we'll take the Broncos here. Next matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Green Bay Packers. Packers opening up as 6.5-point favorites with the over-under at 45.5. You can get the Packers on the money line at minus 285. The Steelers plus 255. Steelers coming off that embarrassing 24-10 loss against the Bengals. Packers coming off that really great win over the Niners, 30-28. Pittsburgh 5-1 against Green Bay, surprisingly. 5-2 on the road against the Packers. Green Bay 9-2 in their last 11, 15-2 at home right now. But this Steelers team is not the same. Their offense is not that good right now. A lot of injuries. Big Ben looks horrible. The offensive line is bad. The defense hasn't looked the same since TJ Watt's been injured, but still, haven't been that amazing. Love the Packers here. The Steelers, man, they're just... Big Ben has just been playing awful here. You can tell it. Don't know what's going on with the Steelers here. I'm going to roll with the Packers. Then the last matchup, we have Sunday Night Football between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New England Patriots. The Bucs opening up as 7-point favorites with the over-under at 49.5. You can get the Bucs on the money line at minus 300. The Patriots plus 265. Tampa Bay coming off that 34-24 loss against the Rams. The Patriots coming off that 28-13 loss against the Saints. Tampa Bay 10-1 in their last 11 games. Just 1-4 against New England, 1-4 covering against New England. But to be fair, this Tampa Bay team didn't have Tom Brady in those games. That's why they weren't able to be successful against the Patriots. Yeah, Tom Brady getting his return, and the Patriots just haven't looked good this season. Mac Jones, he's been pretty decent, but the team hasn't looked good as a whole. I think Tampa Bay is going to beat up on this Patriots team here. If you think it's going to be close, buy a half a point and get Tampa Bay minus 6.5. But I love the Bucs in this matchup here. And it's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Sunday, and I'll see you guys Monday. Have a good one.